My car is about to get repossessed. And I am on a date with a guy who is like decades older than me. But hopefully he is going to be the savior and the answer to my problems. And so we're on this little date. And then he just boldly just asked me, okay, so what do you need to take care of everything? I'm sweating. I'm like, I almost don't want to look at him. I'm just like, okay, I know what I need. I gotta be assertive. I gotta say it. Okay. Just like $3,000 a month. And he's like, okay, I can do that. Okay, great. That was me. I apologize in advance if you hear people blowing and mowing. There's lawn people outside, so apologies for that. But anyways, hi, I'm Letitia Renee Brown, and thank you for joining me and welcome again to my channel. This is part 2 of my testimony of Sugarbaby to Jesus, okay? Now, if you haven't watched part 1, definitely go and check it out on my channel because you'll want to know how I actually got into this lifestyle, how it all started, where it came from, all of that. And now here we are, end of 2014 to the beginning of 2015. And like I told you in my previous video, where we left off was I'm the kind of person, if I have a goal, I go after it. So I was climbing the ranks in this lifestyle. I started to date what I would officially call my first real wealthy sugar daddy, if you will. And I want to preface this by saying, even though it sounds crazy to say it, even though I found him on a sugar daddy website, I genuinely wanted someone to be my boyfriend. Like in my mind, I wanted someone who I could date, who happened to have the resources to help me while I'm unemployed at the time and struggling through wanting to get back to going to college, who was attractive and who could help me get along in life. Because I've been Miss Independent up until now, but you got all these people in my face. And I'm like, at this point, what old girl is telling me is you use that to your advantage. Well, what do you have to offer me? That is the mindset that I had back then. Okay, back then. And so I justified my actions by dating this later, what I found out, married man. And like I said in my previous video, he was very attractive. He did not look old. He was in shape, fit. We had a lot in common, dope spirit, just like fun guy to hang out with. And it was just like, he's married. Okay, what do I do with this? Well, shoot, I'm already in it. He already started giving me money. We're already here. Let's just ride this thing out. I bring up this Sugarbaby relationship because this was the first guy that I came across that was actually like wealthy. The guys before that were a bit more on the average side, or so as much as I can know, financially. This guy, I'm not telling his business. This video is not about him. It's not to bash him or any of these things. But this guy had, multiple residences, huge house, all these things. This relationship lasted maybe a year and some change. And I was not faithful. In my mind, I'm like, well, you're married. It doesn't make sense for me to be faithful to a married man. I'm sorry, I can't do it. And he wasn't either, I'm sure. And so this relationship was just like a hodgepodge of just secrets and lies and fun and experiences. And we never really traveled anywhere. He never really took me anywhere. But we would have, fun, in the city where I lived here in Atlanta. So I'd probably say the most genuine thing that came out of that relationship was maybe our commonalities that we had, maybe for nature or animals or music or, things like that. That's what was intriguing about him. I'm like, why is he on this site? I don't get it. Fast forward, as I mentioned in my other video, or did I mention it? I'm not sure, but I'll reiterate it here. I quit my job and told him I got fired. By the way, I'm saying all of these things not to paint him in a bad light, not to paint myself in a bad light. I'm sharing. I'm sharing the truth. I'm sharing my open, real, raw, vulnerable testimony because I need to. I cannot stress this enough. I need to set up the story of where I was so that you understand where I presently am now and how I did not get here in my own strength. I literally got here by God's grace. I literally got here by God changing me completely into a new creature in Christ. So you have to fully understand what the other creature was. You know what I mean? So this creature, okay, she was a pathological liar, cheater, and just manipulator, Jezebel all the way. And so I put on this whole show, lied, say I got fired from my job when I actually quit because I wanted to go back to school full time. I always had my mind and my sights set on a goal. I never wanted to just be sitting around and having money thrown at me and just to buy material possessions. That wasn't my goal. My goal was I'm struggling. I'm on my own by choice. And I need someone to help me get back to going back to school full time because that was my goal. I wanted to finish my degree and I wanted to live a better life financially. I didn't expect to immediately want to live in a mansion or a big high-rise condo and all of these things. I just wanted to comfortably pay my bills, travel, have some experiences, soak up some knowledge and maybe wisdom from these older men, have fun in my 20s, take advantage of my youth and beauty, and get to where I need to go. And after that, we're good. That was the plan. That was the goal. And not sure what this man's goal was. His goal was probably to have fun on the side because whatever he wasn't getting in his marriage, he thought he can get here in the streets. Is what it is. So from there, he showed me empathy. And he actually connected me with a friend of his that gave me a part-time job. And it's interesting because that relationship was very frustrating to me once I got to the point that I realized he wasn't providing everything that I needed. He was providing maybe half of what I needed. And so that wasn't enough for me. Because the thing about this sugar baby lifestyle that I was experiencing in my mind, once I tasted what it felt like to get a man to give me something or to do something for me, it was never enough. I needed more. I needed more. I needed more. I was like, oh, okay, this guy is giving me $1,000 allowance, every month or every time we see each other. Well, that's not paying the bills. Because at this time, I think my bills was maybe $2,500 a month. And, I want everything taken care of. So it's like every time I achieve the goal, I'm on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And that's just how I was. And so, I left the guys who were giving me, in my mind, pennies. Now I'm with this wealthy guy. Well, I see the house he has, the cars he's driving, all of these things. Well, it shouldn't be no problem for him to take care of everything. But he didn't. Maybe he could have financially, I'm sure. Maybe not. The point is, as much as I thought I was manipulating and playing this guy or had this mutually beneficial arrangement, if you will, to take care of one another's needs, he always had the upper hand because he had the resources. And I'm a young, impressionable young woman who is dependent now on these resources because I quit my job. And now I'm working for your friend. And so I put myself in some pretty precarious situations now that I look back at it, where I became dependent on another person for my livelihood that wasn't structured in a job, right? Because you technically do the same thing for a job, right? Unless you start working for yourself, like I'm doing now, amen. So I say all of that so that you understand my mindset of why I wasn't faithful to this married man and why it wasn't enough. Because in my mind, at any point, You can cut me off, you can drop me, you can find somebody else who you think is sexier than me and go entertain her and give her my allowance. And then I won't have anything. And so I took a risk, I took a gamble, and I thought that quitting my job and having him have empathy on me, he would then be persuaded to take care of me fully. But he was smart and he said, I'm gonna get you behind a job instead. And so now I'm in this situation with him, and we're dating, we're doing our thing, we see each other as often as we can. But again, it's not enough for me because my sights are set on higher. Now I realize I need this amount of money a month. Now I want to start traveling. Because here's the thing too, and I don't want to give away too much for the sake of the privacy of these communities and the privacy of these people, but there were some blogs online that these women were sharing their lifestyles of how their sugar baby journey was going, and the pictures and the stories and all these things. And that helped me to see what was possible of how much I truly could get, or what I wasn't doing effectively, if you will. So anytime I started to get some kind of a knowledge of, oh, this woman is doing this and she got this. Okay, this woman did this. Oh, wow, this woman. I took that and tried to execute it in my situation. In comparison to these other women that I'm starting to learn about their stories, oh, homie, he not. There's men out here funding whole entire businesses and all flying them across the country. I want that. Help me start paying off these student loans and help me get back into school. I want that. I started to get greedy. And that's why I was unfaithful to a married man. Because at any time he could drop me. So I have to have a roster. I have to have multiple people that I'm talking to. So I started to date this guy in another state, in Florida, and start to see him occasionally, like every few weeks. Again, these guys were all on mutually beneficial type dating websites or sugar baby, sugar daddy dynamic type websites. So I can't sit here and feel bad for calling them sugar daddies, even if they didn't appear to be the quintessential sugar daddy, if you will, whatever. They were on these websites. They were looking for something, and so was I. I'm doing my thing. I'm entertaining multiple people because I have to make sure I always have my options open just in case this guy cuts me off. And that's exactly what he did. It got to a point where, I went to go visit him and we had this heated argument in the car. I don't even know what it was about. I don't know. But I could tell it was the end of that relationship. I was afraid because now I'm depending on this person. But so many ways he cut me off. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? And so I'm not no thirsty. And this is me, Letitia back in the day. I'm not no thirsty person. So I'm not about to sit here and keep begging you and pleading me to stay with me. I'm just going to go and exhaust more of my options that I already have and go find some other options. So that ended. And I started to get to know some of the ladies in the community that were doing the same thing that I was doing. And I became really good friends with a young lady. And then I started to share with her my issue and my problem that I had. And it was just like, this guy cut me off. I don't know what to do, because he was giving me, I think, like $1,500 a month. I needed that, to pay a chunk of my bills, car note, all of these things, because I'm living on my own. And so I tell her about this and she's taking sympathy for me. But this is a young lady that I meet that was like, in my mind, goals. Oh my gosh, she was a person that I was able to talk to about these things openly and candidly because we were in the same boat. We were in the same lifestyle. And my other friends, I couldn't really share this with them. I'm living a double life. Her situation was something that I wanted, like but so many ways, basically her whole everything was taken care of for her. And I was like, I want that. Oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? So I get back on the sites. And I just start over. This time I'm taking better pictures. This time I'm, having better writing skills for my bio and all these things. And I up my game. The other kind of like side pieces that I was talking to, those start to dwindle out because my sights are set on higher. In my mind, now I need to find someone that's going to pay me $3,000 a month. Okay, if I get that, I'm good. I can take care of everything. And then I can focus on just going to school. That's what I wanted. And so now I'm in this situation because I'm a very financially responsible person. Even back then, given the fact that I did not have a lot of financial literacy, but I would always stay open to learning. So I was good at budgeting. I was good at crunching numbers. I was good at being frugal. Again, I wasn't a materialistic person, so I wasn't blowing my money on materialistic things. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with material possessions, but I was always storing away. I was always saving just in case. And so I'm on this hunt for my next sugar daddy. This is crazy, Lord. Why am I telling people this story? Anyway. And my car note is overdue. That has never happened for me. Again, because I'm very, very financially responsible, always pay my bills on time, do not miss a payment. So I'm sitting here, I'm scrambling. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. And so I'm back on the site. And usually what happens for me, I get on the sites, go through a whole bunch of failed crappy dates until I eventually struck gold. And so that's what happened. And there was this unassuming guy who didn't come across as flashy. And he was very, very old. And y'all, I'm laughing because I can't believe I'm telling this. I can't believe I'm telling this story. Yo, all right. Be obedient and continue to share. Because somebody out there needs to hear this. Like, I don't know who you are, but you need to hear this crazy story I'm about to share. Because you might be in my same situation. But anyway, as where I was, in my situation where I was. Happily married now, okay? So I come across this guy's profile and we start talking and he wants to meet. We go on a cute little date, something real simple, just get lunch somewhere in the city. Things just kind of go well from there. I think on our second date. So we go on our second date. Again, very chill, nothing extravagant. We just went and just like sat somewhere and talked, I think, in public, obviously. And I'm using all of my skill sets, okay? I'm making sure I look my best. I'm making sure I got the conversation skills on point, making him feel seen and heard and all the things, right? I was like the self-help book guru back then. So I was reading all the things, all the books to make sure that I was up on my skills to be able to be a great conversationalist or to be alluring or to be a lady or all this stuff that was just like trying to develop myself into like this little Barbie that can be packaged, sold, and shipped off to the next person. And he was the next person. Let's say it's 2015. Yeah, it's 2015 and car note is overdue. My car is about to get repossessed and I am on a date with a guy who is like decades older than me. But hopefully he is going to be the savior and the answer to my problems. And so we're on this little date. And then he just boldly just asked me, okay, so what do you need to take care of everything? And I'm sweating. I'm like, I almost don't want to look at him. I'm just like, okay, I know what I need. I gotta be assertive. I gotta say it. Okay. Just like $3,000 a month. And he's like, okay, I can do that. Okay, great. That was me. Because I didn't believe that this man, said he could do this. But then there was another layer to it. Is he really going to do it? Is this another con? Is this another scheme? Because I actually came across a few people who tried to scam me. A few people who would lie and say that I can do that or I can take care of you in this way. and then they would ghost, or they would try to sleep with me and ghost, or they would sleep with me and ghost. And that sucked because I always try to do things the right way in this lifestyle. That sounds crazy to say the right way, right? Because the right way is none of this. But I was trying to do things the right way, trying to be, have to be honest, I guess, in the sense of not scamming anyone. I never want to scam anyone. I might not be faithful to you, but dang, I'm not going to try to steal your money. Like, what? Anyway, we're getting off topic here. This is crazy. This story is crazy. And so the next time we see each other, I forgot what we did. I think we went to dinner or something, went back to his place, and we were intimate. He already agreed to the allowance. And so I'm like, okay, we're doing this. He already stated that he wanted something. We had a phone conversation, when we first started talking, and he let me know up front. He was like, I don't want a transaction or somebody you see once a week and I just throw money at you. Like, I actually want someone that I can spend time with, a companion, all of these things. He wanted someone that can be his girlfriend. He was single, thank God. Don't have to worry about sneaking around with this married man anymore. And we could just kind of just hang out and date freely. And so I was like, okay, I like that. I like that because that's what I wanted too. I didn't want someone that I see on a certain day at a certain hour and he gives me X amount of money every time, like an escort. I wanted someone that I could actually date as well. Someone I can like grow fond of, that we can travel, we can just hang out, or we can go out in public together. So back to where we were, I was at his place and we, we're kind of like chatting and talking. And I was letting him know my situation and that my car was about to be repossessed. And I didn't have no, I was still working the little side job that I had, I think. But I let him know the situation. And right away, he was like, oh, okay, here. And I think he gave me like a couple $100s and to pay my car note. And I was just like, really? It's like, yeah, here you go. I was like, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Like, I really appreciate it. And so after that, I was just like, oh, he's about it. He's not all talk. He's not, I'm got nothing to hide. He's not penny pinching. He's like, here, whatever you need, there you go. I was like, yo, what? And so I deposit that. I want to go pay my car note, okay? Because I'm not trying to lose my car. And so things kind of began to speed up with us. I think a couple weeks of knowing each other and dating and hanging out, I still didn't, no. Yeah, a couple of weeks because I didn't receive my first allowance yet. This man asked me to go on a trip with him. And I was just like, huh? Yes, it was like 2 weeks of knowing each other. And I was so nervous because I was like, I don't know this man well. What if he's going to try to take me out of the country and kill me? Like, what's going to happen? My relationship with God was very far. So wasn't really calling on him because God, like, I'm not going to talk to God about what I'm doing. What? No, I have this shame in this area. I'm not going to share that with him. No, I muster up the courage and I go. And I'm like, okay, I'm going out of the country. I've only been out of the country maybe one other time when I was little as a child, to this very same place. And now we're going. I'm going with my sugar daddy that I've known for 2 weeks. I thought it was a scam. I was like, this man, because again, the guy I was dating before, he never took me anywhere. So it was just like a lot of staycations. So this guy was just like, yeah, do you want to go? And I'm like, I have a passport, no stamps. And I'm like, what the heck? Why not? Yeah, sure, I'll go. I didn't tell anybody where I was going. I think I lied and said I was doing something. I don't know what I lied and said I was doing. And if you want to see part 3 of Sugarbaby to Jesus, my testimony, and my other testimony series, My Life, His Glory, definitely subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything that I put out. So back to where I was saying, we're having fun. We're on this trip. I'm blown away at the fact that this man who has only known me for a couple of weeks wanted to take me out of the country. I'm like, he does this. Like, this is normal to him. Going on this trip, staying in this very nice hotel. and we had a blast. Okay, I had so much fun. It was like I wasn't even hanging out with somebody that was decades older than me. It was just like another guy who I was having a lot of fun with because he was so easygoing and kind of chill. He didn't really require much. He was just a really chill person. Um, so he was easy to hang out with. And I remember we were back at the hotel and, spending some time together. And I remember kind of like breaking down and crying, like genuinely, because I was scared. Here I am out of the country with this man that I just met who says he's going to start to give me $3,000 a month. But at this point, he's only giving me a couple $100 to pay my car notes. So my car doesn't get repossessed. But that doesn't change the fact that this little side job isn't paying remotely half of my bills. My you know, ex, my last sugar daddy cut me off. And so I'm in a dire financial state because everything else is starting to catch up to me. And I've never been in this situation. And so I'm hanging out with this guy and I'm just like, I broke down. I was just like, so what's wrong? What's going on? I was just like, I'm really scared because I cannot pay my bills right now. Or something that I said. And he just sternly looked at me and he was like, so you mean to tell me, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, so you mean to tell me that you flew, out of the country with a man and you're over here, doing what you're doing with me and you can't pay your bills? Why didn't you say something? Because I could give it he basically said, I can give you the allowance earlier or something like that. Because it was like a once a month type thing. So he didn't send me the money right away. I forgot what he was waiting for, honestly. But I never received the allowance like up front. It was kind of like, I don't know what he was waiting for. But anyway, but after I said that, he was just like, when we get back, I'll make sure you're good. You don't have nothing to worry about. And I was just like, okay. And I don't know why I trusted him in that moment. But we had so much fun on this amazing trip. And as soon as we got back, $3K in my bank account. I went crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, oh my God, he really did it. Oh my gosh, like, whoa. And so I thought I had it made. I was like, and I was telling my friend and other people in this community that I was starting to be a part of sugar babies, like, oh my gosh, I just landed a new sugar daddy and he's giving me X amount this month, every month. And at this point, that covers everything, like, and then some. So if I do this and hang out with them and all, I'm comfortable. I'm fine. Let's just leave it off right here. Let's just leave off here because this was like the peak of this sugar baby journey. I was like, yes, I made it. I cut off everybody else. I wasn't talking to anybody else because they couldn't offer half of what he was giving me. So I was just like, yeah. And then he's not married, so we can travel, we can hang out and just do our thing. And then we started to get some hiccups in the relationship. We started to have some issues. And I'm not going to say it was too good to be true, but the ramifications of this relationship, of this lifestyle that I chose to be a part of, started to catch up to me. And it started to get very dangerous and quite toxic. So we're going to talk about that in part 3 of Sugar Baby to Jesus. And I can't wait to share with you how God came into this situation and how he played a pivotal part in delivering me from this lifestyle. This is interesting sharing all of this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I do want to say something real quick though. If you think I'm up here glorifying this lifestyle, you are sadly mistaken. These videos are not to glorify what I was doing before. Mind you, this was many years ago when I started this lifestyle that I was a part of. And it's been, 5+ years of not being in this lifestyle anymore. It's so much that I had to heal from, let alone learning how to date again, learning how to trust men again, learning how to depend on my Father in heaven for my provision and not a man who wants to sleep with me. Learning my worth and my value that is not in my looks or what I have to offer intimately. I had to relearn what it means to be a daughter of the Most High. I had to relearn what it means to have self-respect. I respect everyone's choices. If you're a part of this lifestyle or not, or if you found yourself in a similar situation, there's no judgment. There's zero condemnation. But I will say, based off of my experience of getting pretty deep into it, there are ramifications, especially spiritually. So I just wanted to leave the video off with that. On a serious note, I am not up here condoning or glorifying this lifestyle at all, because people like to watch little pieces of the video, not get the full context, and ask in the comments, teach me how to do what you did. No, that's not what this video is for. So I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending time with me. Again, if you have enjoyed this content, stick around, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Until next time, hope to see you soon. Peace.